This is me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I told you guys that when I got 10 questions, I would do another Q&A. So, I got 10 questions. So, I'm going to do a Q&A right now. All right, so more about me. Number one, it says, are there black people in Costa Rica? First of all, there are black Costa Ricans. That's the first part. When you come to Costa Rica or when you see the brochures and things like that, you mostly see the Costa Ricans from the Central Valley and from the Pacific side, the Pacific Ocean side. But if you go to the Caribbean side, there are actual black Costa Ricans. They're Costa Ricans who are darker than me, my complexion and darker. Where'd they come from? They came from Jamaica. They came from Jamaica and they moved to Costa Rica generations ago and set up shop by the Caribbean Ocean. So that whole part is Limon and a couple other places over there. That whole area is pretty much Costa Ricans that are darker, many of them of Jamaican or African descent. So you have them. They're here. You see them sometimes. I'm in the Central Valley, so I don't see them as much. But if I go that way towards Limon, you'll see lots and lots and lots and lots of them. There's also black people here from the United States. Some black people have moved here, like I did. I was walking down the street one day, and I had a shirt that said Temple University, and this dude was like, "Yo, Philly," and I was like, "Oh my goodness." It's a black guy in the middle of Costa Rica, and he was telling me him and his friends had moved here. So a lot of black people are coming this way, but Costa Rica is mostly Spanish people. It's mostly Costa Ricans, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans. A lot of them live here too. That's predominantly the makeup of the country. What is it like to date in Costa Rica? Is the language barrier an issue? I have not dated yet anybody here. Now, from what I understand from other people, other expats, they tell me that dating here is not bad. They tell me that they pretty much date Costa Ricans, but it's other Americans here to date. It is Canadians here, people from the UK, and like I said, other people from other parts of Latin America. So the pickings are pretty good. You know, it's lots of people here, to choose from. I just haven't been into it. It's not something I've been interested in yet because I've been working on me. The language barrier, I don't think is an issue because a lot of Costa Ricans speak English. So if you're going to date somebody who speaks English, it shouldn't be a problem. I would have a hard time dating somebody who didn't speak a little bit of English. And that's not to say that I wouldn't do it, because I would do it. But I would just beef up my Spanish skills. We would have to teach each other real quick how to communicate, because I'm a talker, so we need to be able to talk, you know? So, from what I understand, the dating scene is pretty normal here, pretty good here. There are gay clubs here. I've been to one actually. I think there's like one or two. So people who are gay and lesbian will have some place to go as far as that's concerned. I think there's also like gay resorts here and things like that that I haven't checked out. Heterosexuals probably would have it easiest though, because most of the clubs are, going to have heterosexual people in them. So it would be pretty good as far as that's concerned. But I haven't actually done it. So this is all just from listening to people and research and theory. I just haven't really been interested. I haven't seen anybody I wanted, to be honest with you. So it just hasn't happened. Number 3, why did you lock your hair? I started with the big chop. I had been dyeing and processing my hair for a millennia. I had weaves, wigs, hair pieces, ponytails, braids, you name it. Micro braids are my favorite. And when I went to Africa, I saw other African women with weave or things like that, and it just looked ridiculous to me. And I said to my roommate, I said, "What the hell? Like, that looks ridiculous." And she said, "How do you think it looks on you?" And I looked in the mirror and I was like, she's right. It's just, she was 100% right. I'm like, why? Like, why do I do this to myself? And I started to learn, that it had a lot to do with African women not being allowed to show their own natural hair, their own natural beauty, and that most of us had grown up thinking that our own beauty, our own natural hair was ugly and awful and dreadful and all these things. So I decided to go natural. I wanted to see what I looked like natural for a change. I remember one of my boyfriends once told me, I wonder what you look like underneath all of that. I had on makeup, my hair was weaved up, I had on fake nails. And I was like, yeah, it's a good question. What do I look like underneath all that? So I decided to chop my hair off and let it go natural. And then I had always been admiring other people's locks. I loved locks. I've loved locks for a long time. And I would always admire other people's, and I never thought of growing my own. So as my hair started to grow, it started to grow into this little afro, people would say to me, you should lock your hair. Because I would talk about how nice somebody else's hair was. And they were like, why don't you lock your hair? And back then, locks was not something people did for a hairstyle. Now people get these fake locks and they get all kinds of stuff, but that isn't what it was about. When we did our locks in the late 90s, locks were about patience. It was a spiritual lesson of patience. And also it was said that they're like antennas. The Rastas taught us they were like antennas, and your hair becomes like part of your psychic sensitive, energy. So when I learned that, and then I learned about the patience, I wanted to learn more patience. So I was like, they're beautiful. They'll teach me patience, and they work like antennas, to feel out psychic energy. So I was like, why not? So I twisted my hair, and I did it myself, little baby locks, and I used some product I found at the store, and I kept twisting them, and they got longer and longer and longer. That was in 1999 when I started them. And my daughter has locks too. I started hers a little bit after. And she always knew that she could cut them off when she got older if she wanted to. But she loves them, so she still has them too. We both do. And then my little brother locked his hair. He liked the way it looked on us, so he locked his hair. A couple of my other family members did too, but they didn't. My cousins and my aunt, they did it as a hairstyle. And whenever a person does locks as a hairstyle, they don't last. They end up cutting them off. But when they have a spiritual meaning to you, that's when people have a tendency not to cut them. My locks are not going anywhere. I mean, if they fall out of my head, that's the only way they're going anywhere. Because for me, they've become a part of me. They've become a part of, like I said, like antennas. What is your biggest pet peeve? I got a lot of pet peeves. And I was sitting there thinking, like, which one is the biggest one? But I'm going to tell you one of the biggest ones that comes to mind. I do not like it when I explain something to someone about myself specifically, and they try to tell me it's not what I think it is or not what I said it is. Because one thing about me, I'm extremely self-aware. So a lot of times as an Aquarius, when we tell people something, they are like, it's not that, it's this. I hate that. And women have a tendency to do that, and men who are trying to manipulate you have a tendency to do that. If you sit and explain something you think or feel, and then a person tries to tell me that's not what it is, I generally stop talking to them. I hate that. I hate that. And it happens all the time. Like, I'll come on Ask an Aquarius, I'll do a video, and I'll explain something about myself, and then somebody will inbox me and say, well, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's this. And it's like, bitch, I don't care what you think it is. This is my life, So I get really pissed off when I try to explain something to someone, and they try to tell me what I think about my life isn't right. That bugs me. That bugs me a lot, because I really think it's manipulation. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves. How do you stay so positive? I stay positive by staying away from negativity. I stay away from negative people. I stay away from negative situations. If I know a person is negative, I just ghost them. If a situation is negative, I quickly, as I possibly can, get out of it. But this isn't just like those kind of things. It's also the music I listen to, the things I expose myself on television. Like, I listen to music that is pretty much upbeat, happy music. Even when it's not, I don't listen to anything that's degrading. I don't listen to a lot of rap music or hip hop because a lot of times it has a tendency to be, it puts people down, especially women. A lot of times it puts them down. And this is not all of it because I do have some things I like, let me think, what do I actually like? I like some old stuff really, and some of that isn't even all that great as far as like being socially conscious. But most of the time I'm listening to positive music, like happy music. I listen to a lot of 80s music. People think that's weird, but I listen to a lot of 80s music because people in the 80s were feeling good, like White Snake, and some of them were really just like rocking out. So I listen to happy music. I don't expose myself to the news. I don't watch the news. I took it off my Facebook. Like when it comes up, every once in a while I see something, but I took myself off of like all the news channels. Um, some people look at like gory pictures. I don't look at that kind of stuff. My friend was trying to show me the other day a picture of this man who got impaled through his face and his eye popped out. And I'm like, why would you even look at something like that? And I was like, yuck. So I keep myself away from gross, negative, frustrating, angry, negative influences, especially people. If somebody says something to me nasty online, because you all know people always got something nasty to say online, I just block them and go on. I don't argue with people. I don't go back and forth. All of these things keep me in a positive space. When you start doing those kind of things with people, it drags you into their negative vibration. So I stay away from all that kind of energy. So I surround myself with positive things, positive people, positive situations. Also, the happier my life got, the more positive I was. So I worked on my life, I worked on my healing, I worked on my emotions, I worked on myself. Because the happier I was, the more positive I was. So that was a large part of it as well. What do you think about us when you read our comments? I think you guys are a lot like me. Like when I read some of the Aquarius comments, especially younger Aquarius, it just makes me smile because a lot of you guys are a lot like me. A lot of you guys do a lot of the same dumb shit that I did. A lot of you guys do a lot of the same stuff. That's why I try to tell you the things that I say on Ask an Aquarius, because most of the stuff you trying to do, I already did. And I'm telling you, it's not a good idea. So a lot of times when I read the comments, I'm thinking about how much you guys are like me. Some comments, I'll be honest with you, make me cry. I've seen comments that just made me bawl. This one girl wrote a comment to me and she said that her mother had passed away and that when she listened to me talk, it made her feel like she had a mother again. And that shit made me cry for like 30 minutes. Like, cause I understand what it feels like. Even though my mother is alive, we've never been close. So I understand what it feels like not to have a mother influence, not to have a mother you can call and a mother that you can that trust, you can talk to, tell your secrets to. I understand what that feels like not to have that. So when she said that, it just made me break down and cry so hard. So your comments a lot of times are very emotional and some of them just crack me up. Like some of the stuff you guys say just cracks me up. What are your past and future aspirations? My past aspirations were to get to where I am now, to a good space economically, a good space emotionally, a good space physically. I wanted to be where I am right now. My future aspirations is to get even better. I want to do more with my health because I still have more weight I want to lose. That's my biggest thing as far as that's concerned. As far as my life is concerned, there are things I want to create. I want to do goddess retreats. I want to do some type of charity, like some kind of charity that I run to help people. I have a lot of ideas in my mind about things that I want to do along those lines. I want to continue growing Ask an Aquarius. I want to keep helping people in that way. And I want to find other creative, spiritual ways to help people. I want to do more readings. I want to keep working. And I just want to grow. I want to keep traveling. I want to grow my life. And I want to help my daughter establish herself because, again, she's a Scorpio. And Scorpios are late bloomers. So I want to help her figure out how to establish herself, too. So those are the things I'm working on right at this very moment. What countries have you visited so far? Let's see. So far, I have been to, of course, North America, which would be the United States. United States, all over, crisscrossing the United States. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Panama. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Colombia. I've been to Ghana in Africa. I've been to Amsterdam in Europe. And that's it. Those are the countries I've hit so far. I would like to see Canada because I've heard great things about Canada. I would like to see other places in South America. Not sure which ones yet because certain ones, like for instance, Argentina, I heard has great food. So there's other places that I want to go. I would love to see New Zealand. Can't go to New Zealand without seeing Australia. I would love to go to Thailand and Bali. So it's a lot more traveling. India, of course, I got to see India. And I want to go back to Amsterdam too. I loved Amsterdam. That was fun. So there's a number of different places that I want to go to that I haven't been to, but those are the countries I've been to so far. How does your family feel about your spirituality and your sexuality? Well, my family is predominantly Christian and heterosexual. So when I came out with my sexuality first. And it was kind of confusing to them, I think, because I had always been with men and they didn't know I even liked women. But the reason why they didn't know is because I hid it from them for ever. I didn't tell them until I had to. I was dating women for years before they found out. I knew since I was 4. I didn't tell them because of my mom. Really, I knew she did not like gay people, so I didn't tell anybody. And finally, I became more and more open with it with my friends, and somebody in my family saw me and told my other family members, and then it became like I lied about it, and then after a while, I was just like, whatever, it's true. And I came out the closet like it's true. Yeah, yeah. Everybody else in the world knew already. Everybody else in the world, my friends always know everything about me before my family. My family is very judgmental, which a lot of families are. And I just didn't want to deal with the bullshit. I didn't want to deal with their expectations and their opinions and other crap. So I just didn't tell them. And then after a while, I just stopped caring. And that was it. That's how they found out. So most of the family, some of them have religious beliefs. Like I have a cousin who's Muslim, and he says some old slick shit to me one day. I ain't fucked with him since. So yeah, they got their little spiritual things going on as far as what they think about sexuality, and I just leave them alone because I don't like bigots. I don't like bigots of any kind. So if you got a problem with me, my sexuality, my color, my gender, my spirituality, whatever, if you have any kind of issue with that, I just leave you alone. That's on you. So most of my family is really either they don't care and talk about it behind my back, that kind of thing. But they didn't shun me, they didn't exile me, they didn't banish me, any of those things. I honestly think they're too nosy to do that. Honestly, I think they're much too nosy for that. And the spirituality part, I have one aunt that's a holy roller, and she's always talking shit about Jesus and all this other crap. And she hates the fact that I'm, a pagan. She hates that. And she's always talking about Jesus and blah, blah, blah. But I just ignore her because everybody in the family knows that she's crazy. So I just ignore her. And I don't see her very often because of that very reason. And basically, they kind of make jokes about it. Oh, ha, 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 she's into voodoo. They say little dumb, stupid shit. My mom says the dumbest shit out her mouth, which is really funny to me because my mom has gifts too. But she never embraced them because she was afraid of them. So me not being afraid of mine, I'm sure, is quite the rub. So, they say little smart stuff like that, which, to be honest with you, is very painful to me. It's one of the reasons why I don't really be around them that much. I see them like once or twice a year because I don't think they know it's painful to me, because I usually don't say anything. And if I do say something, it's defense, and I'm such a strong personality. And Aquarius, we're very emotional and we're very sensitive, but nobody knows that because we don't let on. So I don't really let on to them that they bother me in those ways. It's not really the sexuality, it's the spirituality that bothers me because You are my family. You're supposed to be my greatest support system. And to be honest with you, I have a large family and they're not very supportive of anyone in the family. You know, you have this one or that one that got your back, or this one or that one that'll check on you, or this one or that one. But for the most part, I just kind of I don't deal with them that much. I deal with them here and there because of that reason. But to be honest with you, the spirituality is more of a problem than the sexuality, to be honest with you. But I've never found them, even before those things came out about me, I never found them to be very supportive. So I made my own family. You know, my friends are really, truly my family. They're the ones that support me. They're the ones that know the most about me. They're the ones that got my back, you know. My mother helped me and helps me with a lot of stuff throughout life. But as far as like emotional, mental, verbal support, she's a Capricorn. So I had to always get it other places, you know. And I was always blessed because God has always sent me the support that I needed. What is your least favorite sign? My least favorite sign is Capricorn. For obvious reasons. I'm surrounded with them. I'm married a Capricorn. My mother's a Capricorn. My grandmother was a Capricorn. I got a lot of Capricorn cousins. My sister's a Capricorn. I'm surrounded by them, and they've taught me a lot of things I needed to know, but they are my least favorite sign because I have the least amount of harmony with them, you know. And even though we can talk and laugh and joke, we don't always understand each other that well. So that's my least favorite sign. However, my favorite person in the whole world, my grandmother, she passed away, but she was a Capricorn. And my grandmother is my favorite person. I mean, like, there's never been a person alive who I love as much as her. That was my squad. So even though Capricorn is my least favorite sign, my favorite person is a Capricorn. All right, that's the 10th one. All done. So that's all about me. That's a very Aquarius Q&A. So if any of you would like to leave a love donation, I'll put my PayPal underneath this video. And if you would like to get a tarot or oracle card reading, I will also leave my, my email. So you can call me and make an appointment. And if you want to hit me up on social media, I'll leave my Facebook and my Instagram. And if you know anyone who would think this is an amusing video, please pass it on. And please give it a thumbs up. Okay? See you later.